have used throughout this storm, or perhaps even if you didn't, to get ideas for the next one, because there's always going to be a next one. We're in fact hearing this is going to be a very wet winter. That means lots of snow. That means power out. It's going to be even more difficult if that happens, because right now it's not so freezing. And even if furnaces are not working, at least the temperature right now is survivable. But we've got the winter to look to. We've got the next hurricane season. So we're trying to be a resource center for you here on the show. So if you or someone you know has done something quite smart, please let us know. We've got some stories to tell you also. Ben, Faith Middleton, welcome to the show.
Yes, hi. My wife and I were just recently, I live in Windsor, and fortunately, this storm, we fared really well compared to the October snowstorm.
Is that because of something you did, or just the luck?
No, just the fact that, power, we never lost power. It flickered a few times, but that was about it. So we're in good, really good shape. But what got me thinking was my wife was concerned about running a generator outside in the rain. And if I remember right, last October, there were times where it was raining out, we were without power, and I was thinking about ways of keeping the generator from getting wet. But sitting outside your house, running. I don't know if there's what my father uses is he has 2 sawhorses and a piece of plywood, but as you can imagine, in high winds, that's not the greatest setup.
So
the idea would be to have something that's sturdy enough, not going to blow away, but also keep the generator safe while running outdoors.
Yeah, that's a very good question. That is a very, very good question. Somebody's going to have an answer to that. Or start.
I'm also a heating and air conditioning contractor, and I've heard the earlier caller mention about pulling out an oil burner motor, and that's definitely a smart thing to do. If your basement typically floods, you've been through that before, where the repair costs are every single time your basement floods, an electric motor underwater typically doesn't come back from that. So.
Yeah, well, can I ask you a question? That story was a story that I told about a friend of mine who was smart enough to do that. There's a question that I have. When I was thinking about a generator versus what is called a battery backup system for the sump pump, I couldn't quite understand what was the smartest way to go. Can you explain how that battery backup system works? And do you think one is smarter than another?
Well, the battery backup is a great idea. They also power emergency lights in buildings and what have you.
But what is it? So some people I know bought 2 of them so that when they were dashing someplace that had power, they could recharge one, and while the other one was carrying the load, and then swap them out.
That's a big train.
But you have to have an electrician to install this, I understand. So this is something you have to do ahead of time, and so we're letting you know now, because as everybody can see, these storms just pop up. And we've all learned twice now to plan ahead. So is one preferable?
I think, as with the last October snowstorm, gasoline was at a premium too. You were without power and the gas stations were without power. So there were lines trying to get gasoline to refill your generator. So it's kind of a crapshoot where your battery life is only so long. If you're going to be without power for an extended period of time, you might only have 4, 6, 8 hours worth of battery life.
What about this idea of getting 2 batteries and swapping them back and forth?
Push
tree off the
how
power
long
lines with his
it might
tractor.
only extend, you know,
Shit.
for 12 hours. Until you
There's
get
a
it
tree in the road.
recharged.
But can't you just keep going back and forth from
The guy
battery to
behind me
battery
is
and
not
just
happy
keep
that I
recharging?
stopped.
I guess you could, but you'd have to, right, you'd have to have a generator. If you were without power, how would you recharge those batteries?
I see. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know, I was thinking about if you had a friend who had a generator, you could recharge on that friend's generator.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for your tip. Really appreciate it and your idea. That is something to think about, how to keep the generator dry, because you certainly don't want it indoors. We know that by now. We're going to take a quick break. If you're on the line, stay right there. We'll go to your calls. We're serving as a resource center, trying to collect all the smart ideas and strategies that people have used to stay safe, to keep things functioning, and already your ideas have been terrific. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Tree fell over there.